Hi guys! I'm sure you already know what I'm going to do today, but I'm very excited of actually filming this. I'm truly excited. We are going to talk about The Power by Naomi Alderman. Okay, so it's time for me to do the most scary review that I have done in a while. So before I start, I must tell you that this book is for adults. So it has really raw, crude elements and scenes. It's very violent. It tackles abuse of power, abuse of substance, violence, as I said, rape, consent, a lot of darker themes. And if any of these triggers bothers you, I will always advise you to check or to be sure that you can handle this before reading it. I wouldn't like you to go this blindfolded or that it affects you like deeper in a really bad way. So before the review, I want to tell you that I must say that I feel very, very scared of doing the review of this video because it's a very complicated book and it's been a while since I actually practiced my English and I don't think I have the vocabulary enough to tell you how good this book is. So we are going to keep it simple. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but I will tell you that The Power is my favorite book of 2018, and I didn't think I was going to be so shocked and in love with this book as I am. I picked up this book because I was following the feminist book club list of readings. The book club that I'm referring to is Our Star itself, which is the book club that Emma Watson founded a while ago. And I must say that this book struck me, and I still go back to it every time my brain is like thinking about society matters. It comes back to this. This is the story of a kind of futuristic society in which a book has been written about how that society become the society that it is at the moment. Like, well, at the moment, no, in the future. But in order to do that, in order to go back to the beginning of a society, it tackles or it traces back to now. So in that futuristic now, in that fictional now, we start the story of an event, which is that some young women, teenagers, are able to produce electricity with their bare hands. So when you go back to the beginning, you have this group of teenagers that don't know what's wrong with them or don't know how to control the electricity that they are producing. And this leads to different kind of changes that turn out in the society that we see at the beginning, at the end, and the end of this story. So, what it's supposed to be a minor issue becomes a society-shattering event, and I love that. I love that because you don't see this kind of like breaking society apart movement throughout the whole story. You don't see it at the beginning. It's a very subtle kind of almost like an earthquake. And I love that you are able to see that from different point of view. The majority of them are the female protagonist of the story, but there's also a male protagonist, which is also very important. And each of these characters, which are very realistic, very invested in what is wrong, what is happening, and the consequences, they symbolize, or they are, in my opinion, a metaphor of every aspect of societies, any society of the world: economical, political, religious, business. All of them are dealing with this event that nobody is able to explain, and that grows and grows and grows until the society has to deal with it, and it breaks every mold that anyone is able to produce. This multi-perspective story and multi-character story is brilliantly done, because you are able to be an active reader. You have to do your homework. You have to read a chapter, collect the information, and continue on trying to put all the pieces. It's like a puzzle. You have to pull all the pieces to make a sense of what you're reading, to make a sense of this new society that's in the merge and that is emerging. And I feel like with that, the reader has to be very aware and has to be very critical. But also, I feel like with that, Naomi has been able to be sure that the reader is with her, like going every step of the way. And if you keep the reader's attention and you make him part of the story, it will be more immersive, the story itself. So, in addition, I love how different the characters are. I love how they have their own agendas. Some of them you may not like, some of them you have to deal with them because you have to read the chapters, and some of them you agree with. And I love this kind of complicated, very grey characters, because in the end, human nature is very grey. You are not able to feel your potential as a human being until you discover that you may not be as bad or as good as you thought, in my opinion. With this book, I discovered not only a very fragmented story with brilliant characters, as I said, but a masterfully well-driven author. And I say this because with this story, I have found that when I was reading it, at the beginning, as I said, I was okay with what was going on. And as the story progresses, as the movement of the energy progresses, you, as the reader, are able to see some scenes that maybe they wouldn't be right if they were happening today. Because, as I said, the approach to it is very realistic. The approach to the phenomenon is very realistic. But when you read some scenes and see what's going on underneath, you see some fractures, you see some problems, and you see some issues that when you close the book, oh surprise, they are still there, but not in the novel. They are outside, they are out in the world, and they're happening today. I feel that one of the most striking and remarkable things that Naomi has been able to actually produce with this novel is the sense of reflection, the sense of being critical, and the sense of taking the reader with her throughout a journey that has the final destination of being critical with the real society. The majority of these issues I was already aware of, or I was really very, very fast aware of. but there were some that I wasn't expecting to find here, and it's very striking to me when I close the book and I see that some issues are happening in a different way, but they are happening now. So what happens is that, as the majority of books that I read do to me, books are able to make you think. Books are able to make you question everything that is going on. You can identify wrong situation, abuse situation, and others. I'm using just abuse as an example. Sooner than you probably would if you were probably only watching one side of the story. I love books that are able to transcend the pages, that are able to tackle important issues. And what I love the most is that with this book, the sense of being a woman or being a man actually are more complicated, and they are those senses, those acknowledgements, those points of view or general ideas are actually analyzed, and with that analysis you could see the mistakes and the abuses and the complicated situation that our society, our real society, is avoiding when it comes to both of those cases of dealing with women issues and men issues. It is scary. I know that's scary. That's very scary. But if you already seen it, if you already identify it, and even though if you have done that not only by society but with a book, you know, or by now, if you have read it or if you have made a decision, you can be able to be critical about that topic, whatever topic you want to choose. Books can be mirrors, and in this case, this is the mirror of our society. So to me, being able to read this book was a huge wake-up call. So I just invite you to read it so we can discuss it. Have you read it? If you have done so, please tell me what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And if you haven't, I would love to hear, in both cases, what things would you change about your society and how? Which kind of element or which kind of tool would you use for that? If you don't know me, I'm Clara, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Sorry for being so abstract. I hope my opinion has been clear, and I hope you enjoy this review. You can subscribe if you want. Down there, there's a button, and also there's a bell, just in case you want to know when I post a video. Oh, and more things. I leave you all the details about where to find me and things like that in the description. In the info box down below. See you next week, maybe. Bye.